A monster producer is a legendary creature who combines multiple skill sets to dominate their market. Are you ready to dominate?
All right, folks, Coach Burt here. We're going to play a little pitch and catch today. We're going to play a little pitch and catch here today on this concept of finding your voice. And, you know, I'm writing this book on Prey Drive. And as I get deeper and deeper into this book, I'm also reading a book called The Art of Impossible. And it talks about flow state, creativity, feedback loops, rhythms. And what I'm really figuring out is that when you find your voice in life, right, at the intersection of some key things, you start really operating at a very high frequency. The world, you begin seeing real possibility because you have found a real primary skill that you have. And a primary skill, Dan Sullivan will call it a unique ability, some superior skill set that you have, typically given to you at birth, right? Covey called them birthday gifts. The problem is you haven't opened them. Why is this really critical? Listen, I can't tell you how many people struggle every day with finding their talents and monetization of a talent. And if you really understood what I see in a day, is I see a lot of randomness in motion. People wake up with very little direction or purpose because they have not found their talents. And because they've not found their talents, man, they just run around. Life is hard. It's hard to make money. It's hard to enjoy life. It's hard to do something big because there's a confusion, and a confusion is a randomness in motion. Confusion is a problem that appears to have no solution to it. So my early work on this was a book called This Ain't No Practice Life. And if you have not read that book, I strongly recommend you read that book, because what I force you to do in that book is really find your voice. Okay. And I want you to think of it as an intersection. When I did a job fair, and people from all over the country flew in here to meet with me because they wanted to work with me. And I asked a very simple question, Kelly. What is your primary skill? And not one of them could tell me. I work hard. I'm a good person. I'm good with people. Nobody could say to me, I've spent my whole life building this skill, and I now use this skill to solve this problem. And there is nobody in the world better at solving that problem than me, right? Like, look at what I'm doing. I've spent my whole life understanding how to engineer a person through the whole person theory, body, mind, heart, and spirit. I have now given that a vernacular called Prey Drive. Prey Drive is just a sexy way of saying, I'm going to help you find and activate something inside of you that you were actually given at birth. You just don't know how to activate it. Everybody see that? I'm going to bring a structure. So what I'm doing is I'm using my primary skill that I've spent my whole life building to help solve a problem for your life. And when we solve this problem, you're not going to mind to share in some of the spoils with me. Because if I can help you generate a lot more money as a result of this, you won't mind giving me some of that money. Okay. So what is the fundamental problem we're trying to solve here? What's the fundamental problem we're trying to solve? The fundamental problem we're trying to solve is, what is your primary skill? Okay. And how do you become great? So I've been studying, these great people that have done big things in the world in writing this book, whether it be Musk or Bezos or Adam Newman or Jobs. And what I'm looking for, these are billionaires. What I'm looking for is, what is their skill? and what problem does their skill solve? See, you look at Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg was a coder first. That was his primary skill. That's how he started Facebook. He sat in his dorm room and coded. His primary skill is coding. Travis Kalanick, that started Uber, one of his primary skills is engineering. He went to UCLA to be an engineer. So what did he do with Uber? He engineered a system to where you could push a button and get a car. You look at Jobs. His primary skill was liberal arts and technology at the intersection of those two things. And he started Apple. So what I'm looking at is as I'm asking, when I come across people during the day, I'm like, man, I cannot figure out what your skill is. And because I can't figure out what your skill is, you're going to struggle to make money because you don't know what you have and you don't know who would pay you for it. Everybody with me there? You don't know how your skill solves a problem for another person. So the question becomes, how do you find this skill? And at the end of the day, it's found through curiosity. It's found through feedback. It's found through, and if I could just give you, like I said, I'm kind of writing this book right now. So I'm right in the section. I've got a section in this book called Screw Your Why. And it's chapter 3 of the book. I told my wife I got good news and bad news. I've been writing all weekend. The good news is I've got 20,000 words of a 65,000 word book, Doug. The bad news is I'm only in chapter 3. And I got 18 chapters to write. Okay. So the book's either going to be 100,000 words or I'm going to cut something out. Okay. But when I get on a roll and I'm really going through this, man, there's so much for me to say about this. So chapter 3 is called Screw Your Why. And it's meant to say that because I see so many people that cannot get going in life because they haven't found their purpose, right? That's what they think. I haven't found my purpose. So at the end of the chapter, I talk about, here's some of the cycle of kind of your purpose finding you. I don't think you find your purpose. I think your purpose finds you. And it finds you through pursuit of something. So here's the cycle I write about in the book. Number one, it all starts with curiosity. It all starts with something you're curious about. Bill Clinton met John F. Kennedy at 11 years old, and he made up his mind that day he was going to be president. He was curious. Elon Musk read comic books growing up, and he said all the comic book people had something in common. They wanted to save the world. Look at what Musk does today. Okay, it starts with the curiosity. The curiosity is followed up by an action. You study something. You follow up on something. You get access to someone. You sit at the foot of a master. Okay, part of finding your primary skill is this. I am so curious about what, it's like my 8-month-old son, man, he's into everything. He wants to grab everything. Well, what are you curious about and what action do you take in relationship to furthering that? Okay, so it starts with curiosity, then it's followed up by an action. Man, I want to go learn under somebody. I want to study under somebody. I want to learn a methodology, right? The action creates a feedback loop. You say to yourself, this is a personal feedback. Look, I like this or I hate this. Okay. As you know, I don't coach a lot of people one-to-one because I feel more like a counselor than a coach. And so I didn't know that until I started coaching people one-to-one. Like, man, I like coaching people in groups. Then I started saying I like coaching people in great settings. Then I started coaching. I like coaching people at real estate places I own where I could control the environment. Everybody see that? So there's a feedback loop. Okay. The next step 4 is you determine that you enjoy this and you want to continue it.
Look at the time it was sent, and that's the.
Okay. So the next step is I do something and I like it and I want more of this. I want to do more of this. This is good. This is good. I like speaking at large audiences. I like speaking because there's a competition. It activates my competitive prey drive. Right. So I determine I like it. Okay. Step number 5. You begin what's called an innocent climb with humility of working the muscle and developing a hard skill. Step 5 is important because I'm going, man, I enjoy this. And I enjoy it so much, I'm going to do it a lot. And the next thing you know, I'm doing it and I'm doing it and I'm doing it. And dadgummit, I'm getting pretty good at this. And because I'm getting good at it, I've kind of figured out I've got something here. I've got something valuable here. I've got something interesting here. I've got something that can help other people. Okay. So step 5 is this innocent climb where you figure out. Now, when was this moment for me? It was at 25 years old when I spoke at Dell Computers and they paid me more in an hour than I made in a month. That's when I had a revelation. I have something that other people will pay for. It was innocent though. I didn't go out and try to find Dell Computers. I didn't go out and tell them I wanted to speak to their company. It was what I call an innocent climb. It's like you wake up one day and you're like, dadgummit, I'm good at this. This is good. I'm good. This is an area I'm good at. Okay. This skill gets better and better. This is where the long obedience in the same direction comes in. The skill gets better, which with the second part of Prey Drive, which is persistence. You work the muscle, you get better, you have revelations. Now, this is when you know it's a good primary skill as you begin to build demand for your skill. There are people that want your skill. So I was coaching mortgage originators this morning. I was coaching a title company this morning, right? And they want me to teach them my selling system. They want me to activate their Prey Drive. They want me to get their people to sell more. Okay. What happens is you start to build demand. If your skill is not that strong, there's no demand. People are like, man, I don't need this. It ain't that good. If it's real good, then there's high demand. If it's not that good, there's not much demand. Okay. You then begin, your skill then begins to build demand, which initiates monetization. When there's demand, there's monetization that takes place. Then you start charging for this skill. You start charging for this skill, okay? And then ultimately you become known for this skill. Okay, the feedback gets stronger and the Prey Drive is activated and reactivated again. The networks of people introduce you to new associations of new people. And you don't need more money, you need more people. Your person of interest score goes up. Your person of interest score goes up. Now, when you take this and you initiate a selling system behind this, that is really when you start to be a person of interest in the world. And that is the big missing structure. I was coaching $1 billion company this morning, and they do not have a selling system. They have randomness in motion. Okay. They do not call outbound calls. They don't have an explanation of service. They don't have a 7-touch follow-up. Imagine what they could do. That's probably a $3 billion company. Imagine what they could do if they had all these things. So if Doug Peacock finds his skill and he says, nobody on earth is better at this than me, teaching you how to become your own banker, then it ain't a matter of talent. It is a matter of marketing. He has got to learn how to promote and market, right? And this is what I learned from Cardone. He said, you're one of the best damn coaches on planet Earth, but nobody knows it. He's like, man, you could outcoach everybody, but nobody knows it. You have got to learn to promote yourself and market. And he was right. So I spend a lot of my day, every day now, promoting, marketing. And let me tell you something. It is not something I really enjoy, Kelly Eisler. I don't enjoy doing podcasts and videos. And I was coaching a group a minute ago for an hour. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was only 6 people, but I coached them people like I was coaching 10,000 people. I love that part of my job. I do not personally enjoy all the promotion and Instagram and videos. And it's just time to me. But Clubhouse, for the love of God, Clubhouse is going to kill me. I can't sit on there for 2 hours and listen to all these bozos talk. I'm like, we could be doing something right now, right? But it's just a part of marketing. And listen, I would tell my own self, suck it up, Buttercup. This is part of being a person of interest. It don't matter if you like it or not. This is what you have to do in today's world. Does that make sense? Okay. So so there's two parts of this, and I really cover this in Person of Interest. And I really encourage you guys, if you have not been to Person of Interest or gone through Person of Interest, you have got to go through this because it will change everything for you. I spend a whole day number one, on the organic side of being a person of interest, meaning figuring out what it is you got. I spend all of day two teaching you how to market it and promote it. Tony, will you put Person of Interest in here, the link to Person of Interest, so they can get the virtual or the in-person? Because I'm telling you, if you have not gone through this, it will change your deal. 9 out of 10 people have no idea what they have. I'm going through this with my wife right now. She has no idea what her real skill set is. She's got some idea because she's now starting to get interested in like taking her book and redoing her book, Living with the Monster and How Do You Live with Obsessed People. And like, she's really starting, now she's got an interest, but she has no idea. She don't know what to do. And I'm like, all right, let's put this into a plan on how you're going to market this concept to the marketplace, right? Let's do a boot camp. Let's do a 1 day. You need to redo your book and add some more to it. You need your own podcast. Like now I'm teaching her how to be a person of interest. And here's what I told her, this is going to suck. A lot of this stuff I'm telling you to do is going to suck. You're not going to want to do it because it takes time and energy and effort, but it is part of being a person of interest. Okay. So this is the cycle, right? Starts with curiosity, moves to an action. Action creates feedback. You determine you enjoy it. You spend a period of your time doing it. Market gives you feedback. You now have demand. The demand, you do a good job there, gives you new associations. New associations help introduce you to new people. You don't need more money, you need more people. And then you got to follow up with those people like crazy. So guess which parts are missing for a lot of people? They don't know their skill. They don't know how to market, and they don't know how to follow up to bring a deal to fruition. Everybody see that? All right. What questions do you have for me? Because this is very important. What questions do you have on this POI or finding your primary skill?
Hey, Coach.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, I was getting my charger. My phone is about to die. So hang on, let me plug it in before I lose y'all. Hold on. Hang on. Okay, that's better. All right. So as I was taking notes, and I've been working on this, like what my skills are. And sometimes I don't know if these, I don't want to say qualify, but I feel like after all the teachings with you and all the notes, I kind of go back and I do go back and reread them, but like, you know, I was an educator. I was leadership in education. I've been a mentor. You know, I was thinking of all the things I've done my whole adult life since out of college.
Yep.
And everything leads to, I'm an encourager, a high energy person. I make great connections with people. You know, I'm that person who's there, that number one cheerleader, and that person who can get somebody to believe in themselves when they don't believe in it. And I've done that many, many, many years. So I feel like my skills, my birthday gifts,
yep,
what I was born with from God was a girl with a lot of energy, a lot of drive, great connections with people, and an encourager.
Okay.
So now pulling all that together, sometimes I do feel like randomness in motion because I feel like I'm kind of scattered. So trying to rein all that together is what I'm working on. But I feel like those are my skills. So are those when you're, because I was listening to you just a minute ago talking about like, okay, the Facebook guy, you know, the coder and my husband's an engineer, so he can put anything together. Like that's a skill, like actually. So I don't know, these feel very fluffy, I guess. I don't know what the word is for them. An encourager, you know,
yeah,
believe.
well, the next question needs to be, what problem does that solve, for whom, and who would exchange money for you to solve that problem? Okay. See, there's no monetization until it solves a problem for another person. That's why they give you money.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And that's really the point. I want you to get more specific. Encourage people to do
right.
What?
Right.
What do you encourage them to do? Get back up when they've been knocked down? Do you encourage them to fight through their feelings? Do you encourage them, right? See, right now, think of it. I have my skill so that you can do something. My skill helps you solve a problem.
Okay. So I would say encouraging on when they set goals, when they have some tasks at hand and, you know, I guess that's what I'm looking at as when I was a mentor and still a mentor actually. Looking at what is it that somebody wants in their life, whether it's a weight loss program, whether it's, you know, helping them with, you know, career oriented. I help a lot of the teenagers, the high school kids with developing what career they feel like they'd be good at and encouraging them and looking at their skill sets to get them there. So that type of
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the part you got to solve.
encouragement, I
That's the part
guess.
you got to spend some time thinking
Okay.
about. You got to get clear in who
Oh.
this is a great exercise for everybody. Who does your right? Like who does your skill solve a problem for? This morning I was solving a problem for a $2 billion company. Then I was solving a problem for a title company. Then I was solving a problem for a little tech dude. Then this afternoon I'm solving a problem for this person. Like here's the deal. What I have found is that I bring a structure to people that they are missing.
Right.
And that is why they're exchanging money for me, right? Okay. Now, here's the missing structure for a lot of people. How many people are you calling on to show them how you can do this? How many people are you talking to? How are you marketing that skill? How are you, right? Like, there's got to be a distribution so people even know what it is you got.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
So the exercise people are doing is, what am I curious about? What am I, right? What am I passionate about? How do I do this? Who do I help? You know, I find it like I've got one guy who always wants to raise capital for me. And I'm like, I'm not clear on the steps of how you would do it. Okay. Be clear with me. So what happens is we're not clear on how our skill and our primary talent can solve a problem for another person. Like in the basketball world, when I was a basketball coach, like I had some players that were scorers, some players that were defenders, some players that were role players, some players that were rebounders. Like it was very defined. Like they're really good at rebound. Like Dennis Rodman, he's a great rebounder. That's all he did. That's all he was supposed to do. He didn't try to score 50 points a game. That was Jordan. So I think what happens in the business world is like we're not clear on how we fit into the equation. So we come in and we just do a bunch of random stuff all day long. And it's confusion where it's like, this is like, I'm a Navy SEAL. I bring a very special skill set to your life. I got unique background, unique experiences, unique training. And because of all that training, man, I'm a stone cold killing machine when it comes to this one thing. Okay. So that's how I want you guys thinking. I do not want any vague, like I'm okay with, I'm an encourager, but I want you to tell me, I encourage who to do what. That's more specific. Okay. That's where we're getting clearer. See, who do you want to help? You know, it's like me asking, do I want to coach companies or individuals? Do I want to coach health coaches or financial advisors? Do I want to coach, right? What do I want to do? How do I use my skill to make money? Okay. My daughter's big into gymnastics right now. So I go look at who's the number one gymnastics coach for her. Who do I pay to help my daughter? So now I got her private coaching. I didn't call over there and say, who's like number 50. I'm like, who's the best one-to-one gymnastics coach you have? And how much does it cost me? Does that make sense? Because I want her to get the best training. Well, why don't we think like that as adults? Like who's the best? And I want training from that person. I want to learn that skill. Okay. Okay. Any more questions? This is good, folks. I'm getting you to think. Money changes hands when problems are solved, but you got to find your primary skill, man. If not, you're just floating around the universe. Okay. So what do? I suggest you go through Person of Interest, at least the virtual or the in-person. I really believe that. Flip the Switch is also good for this one, which is coming up this Thursday, Friday, because I go deep into the psychology of finding your voice. So either one of those would be great. The more advanced version will be Person of Interest. Person of Interest is I know what I've got. I'm just terrible at marketing it. Right? Flip the Switches. I don't even know what I got. I just know I got something. Okay. Both of those are really good boot camps for you. One is this week. Another one's coming up in a few weeks. These are the tools that I create. The book, This Ain't No Practice Life, and Person of Interest would be really good for this. Because man, it hurts my heart to see so many talented people go through life with no no real knowing of their talents. Does that, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it really hurts my heart. And I'm like, you don't have any idea what you have. Like, you don't even know what your skill set is, right? And so therefore you're never going to make any money because you don't even know what you got. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Good Q&A here, folks. Thank you very much for jumping on here with me today. I grew up listening to great country music when I would ride the back roads of Tennessee with my mom. I built an affinity for storytelling, for energy, for using the past to build a bigger future. When I purchased this 8,000 square foot lodge in Christiana, Tennessee, I said, I want to have country nights at the lodge where major artists and entertainers come and entertain in an intimate setting where you can see and be inspired by the artist. But not only that, you can connect, you can network, you can be around some of the biggest people in the world, and you can have fun. I call that edutainment. April the 17th, I'm having country hitmaker Matt Stale at my lodge for country nights at the lodge. Come and have an incredible evening of entertainment, connection, and energy.